Any question? Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I'd like to ask a question. It's Pat Fay. Uh, could you please speak about helping others who are having a very difficult time with their life?
I think 2 days ago I spoke about this exact subject. Look, to my understanding, Pat, and this might sound a little bit harsh, but truthfully, you can only help people that are willing to work on and help themselves. You can't help people because they endlessly come and dump all their problems on you. If they're willing to do something about themselves, I don't care what their condition is, how damaged they are inside, and what economic situation they come from, what racial, religious situation they come from. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is a need in them to do something to fix themselves. And if they have that need, understand, you can do world incredible amount for them. If they don't have that need, you know, you become a garbage dump for somebody who keeps releasing their tension but wants to do nothing about fixing themselves. So, it might sound harsh what I'm saying because we're all confronted with people like that. And it's very difficult to say no. There's so much pain in them and difficult. But the reality is, are they doing something to fix it? Because no matter how much pain there is inside, if they have a need to grow and they have a need to change, they can transform that pain into positive energy. If that need isn't real in them, and they argue, they fight with you, they tell you you're wrong, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that, we just want somebody to give us a pill that'll make it better. Well, life doesn't work that way. It becomes better because somebody is willing to do something to fix their internal being and make it better. Then they can receive Shakti. Then they can receive nourishment. Then they can receive a higher force of energy that can help to heal them. It's a two-way situation. And I know it's very painful sometimes to see somebody you really like and love going through an enormous amount of pain. And yet, do something about no. I don't have to, they don't do anything about themselves. I don't know what to do, Pat, about that kind of situation. And trust me, I have tried to help so many people in that kind of situation.
Mm.
And mostly it was just talking to the wall. It went in one ear and out the other. They do what they want to do. And mostly they look, when people have that kind of pain, when they suffer like that, they don't do anything about it. All it means is that they've cut themselves off from life. They're using that pain as an excuse to not build a life for themselves. Because there's no pain, no matter how deep it goes inside a person, that can't be transformed into positive energy. A person has to be willing to work on themselves to make it happen. Otherwise, they're crippled inside. And that crippled state inside is almost a blessing to them because they always have it as an excuse for why they can't function in life. And that, I don't know, it might be a harsh thing to say, I don't know, but I've been through so much with people like that that I think it's the only answer that I've come up with. Hey, work on yourself. You got me 1,000%. If you don't want to work on yourself, all right, you figure it out. And I don't think anyone has to be responsible for somebody else's lack of consciousness. Or somebody else who just kind of immerses themselves in suffering and doesn't want to do anything to. I mean, I once knew somebody, used to be the mother of a student of mine. I'll never forget this. In fact, it was in Florida, Pat, you
Mm,
know, and she had emphysema and a serious case of emphysema,
mm,
virtually a crippling case of, and she used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. So I said to her, why don't you stop smoking? Let's start there. She said, no, I would rather die than stop smoking. Man, was that a lesson for me?
mm,
I'll never forget that. I'm sure you probably know who it was, you know? It was unbelievable. I'd rather die than stop smoking. And it's also a way for people to get other people's attention. When people suffer like that, everybody gathers or everybody wants to help them. It's the way they get a kind of love, which isn't a real love. So I would honestly be very careful about that, Pat. I mean, look, I would take anyone in my life as a student, as a friend, if they're willing to do the work on, I don't care from where they come from. I've had street people study with me. God sake, criminals, people in jails, study with me. Never cared. The only thing I asked them, do you want to do something about yourself? Do you want to grow and fix this internal dysfunction that's creating the problem? And if people want to do it, then they have to make the effort to do it. It can't be yes, 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 and then they don't do anything. Make the effort to do. Oh yeah, I really want to help myself. All right, that requires action. It requires doing something, going to a meditation class. Understand doing some. I mean, I used to have a guy, I'll never forget this young kid who came to me, and he was, if you'll pardon my Bronxies, he was really fucked up, this kid. He had a lot of problems, And I said to him, I said, look, you're not ready for my meditation class, but come here for an hour twice a week and we'll sit and talk. And he came, he did it twice a week. I was there and I would spend an hour talking with him. I became his therapist. I spend an hour talking to him, trying to help him clarify things, get him calmer inside. And after about 6 months of doing that, you know, he finally was ready to attend the meditation practice. But I took one look at him and I said, no way I'm going to let you in my classes. It'll be a nightmare. But come, you know, twice a week between 2 and 3 in the afternoon, we'll sit and talk. And what made it work is he came. You understand? And he never missed an opportunity to come sit with me and talk. That's what made it work. I mean, I haven't seen this person, it must be 20 years more, but it basically saved his life. I mean, Rudy taught me that everybody lives exactly the way they want to live. It's true. And I know because I know what I was like before I met him. And man, I was pretty screwed up, deeply insecure, many problems, you know. But I went to his classes. Like he couldn't get me away from him. I would go to his store and sit, you know, I needed the energy. I was very hungry. I knew what I needed. So what I'm saying is that, you know, you can have empathy for people, have a lot of compassion for them. But what can you do if they're not willing to do something about themselves? Nothing. I
Mm.
see it here. People show up in meditation every 3 weeks, once a month. You know, I said, how can I teach them? I mean, look, I like some of these people, and all right, they come, but what do I teach? How can I teach them? How can they really learn what I have to teach? A meditation class every 3 weeks, once a month. They can't. So I don't know if that answers your question, Pat. I hope so.
Yes, thank you very much, Stuart.
Yeah, it's a very important question because we're all confronted by this. And people often, in their insecurity and all their problems, they're like cannibals, you know? They consume us.
Mm.
That's how the only way they can get energy. They need energy to live, and they consume us with their neurosis, their insecurity, their problems, you know, take over. And that's how they get energy. They refuel their tanks, but they do nothing to fix themselves and so. And I always say there's a great word in the English language and every other language, no. No. I mean, I have one student now. He's become a really good student, this guy, really wonderful, you know. And he missed class for about a month. And I took his name off the list, you know, and I do that. When people don't show up for a month, 2 months, I get tired of, I got to be here 7 days a week. And people decide to come to meditation once a month. I take their names off the list. And he got all upset. Why did you do that? I said, you're never there. Why you don't send an invitation to people that never attend the party, you know? Anyway, he started coming and it really shook him up. And he's become a really good student now, really good, you know? And so, hey, turned out all right. And I see him in every class growing, changing in front of my eyes, you know, amazing. Does anyone else have a question? I hope this is clear what I'm talking about. This is not a game that I'm playing here. You know, it's a very real way of people developing the capacity in themselves to truly have a spiritual life, to overcome 85, 90% of the problems that exist inside themselves. The insecurity, the this, the that, the guilt, all the neurosis, anxiety that runs rampant in people, you know, that part of people that says, I can't do it, you know? You
I have
can't,
a question.
yeah.
I have a question, Stuart. Yes is easy for me, easier than no. When I say no, I feel guilty.
Well, that's your problem. Why should you feel guilty? if somebody else is using you in a bad way? You know, why? I mean, why should it be used that way by anybody in this world? You know, let them find something that works for them, be it a therapist, be it a, I don't know what, yoga classes, something that helps them to change inside, but not to come and spend all their time dumping all their bullshit on anybody, their problems. And look at you. I haven't seen you in a week, 2 weeks, Christine. Look at you. You look like every ounce of energy is exhausted inside you. You really look like you've never been in a meditation class. I really mean it. I don't know if you've been dealing with these people that have been consuming your energy that way, you know, but I can see it. You want to live this way? I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, you're usually sparkly and beautiful and, you know, wonderful, you know, look at you. You look drained and tired and like you've been sucked dry, you know? And I suspect there's these people that you're talking about that have done this. So why? Why do you need this for? I don't understand. Better to be in meditation class, getting energy and having that sparkly thing that's in you, that wonderfully sparkly thing in you, than to look like this. You know? And all you got to do is say, no, no, I'm sorry. My time, my life is worth more than listening endlessly to your bullshit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been working a lot and some people have been difficult. So.
Yeah, you look very tired, Christine, you know, and that sparkle is not there. And usually you have that sparkle, you know? So you got to rejuvenate yourself. And also the kind of work you do, heal, you know, massage, people just take all your energy, you know? Not putting it down, I like massages. But you gotta drop all the tension and get rid of it, and you know.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks, so thank you. I appreciate what you say.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? Look, I'm not heartless, for God's sake. You know what I do, my God.
Yeah.
But I also understand something important about dealing with people. And I don't think anybody in this world has any right to turn another human being into a rag. One's children, one's parent, nobody should do that. One's friends. And we have to be able to get strong in it, ourselves, not to let people do that kind of thing, because they will. Especially the ones that don't want to do anything about themselves. They want something in the external world to fix them. Some kind of pill they take that makes it all better. What I do is not a pill. If you really do what I do, you have to really work on yourself. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I mean, this meditation is not a pill.
Mm.
To do it demands deep inner work, opening. Otherwise, it just flows right past you. It doesn't go inside. And I had somebody ask me a question today in an email about the teaching of astral traveling and all this psychic stuff of time and space. And, you know, it's so interesting to get an email like that because it's something I won't do. And I won't do it because I find that it's dangerous. You give people little exercises like that, they start doing it, they can blow their brains away. You know, and there's no necessity to do that. The whole point is to teach people how to get human. how to build a strong inner life to become human beings living on the, then all the other stuff just comes. The astral traveling, the time and space teachings, all of it just manifests. If they learn how to develop an inner life that allows them to function here on the highest level of what it means to be a human being, then, all the other things just become part of that growth. And then you have the chemistry to be able to deal with them. So basically, I learned what works for me, becoming human and trying to nurture people so they can develop that kind of an inner life. And then the rest of it just comes, all of it comes. Hands-on healing comes, all of it comes. Okay, does anyone else have a question? All right, there'll be class Sunday. I'll just remind you that Sunday is daylight savings time. So the class is going to be at a different hour. So set your clocks or whatever you have to do. Because I always kid around, but it's true. Every time we have this daylight, whatever it is, people always show up an hour late. Sometimes a week later, they show up an hour late. Oh, I didn't know the clocks were changed. So please change your clocks. We'll be on time. All right, if there are no more questions, thank you. And God bless you all. There'll be meditation on Sunday.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Good night.
Good night.